Hi everybody, welcome back to Yoga with Carlin. Today's flow is going to be really short and sweet, but I'm really excited because this is a morning flow and it's a culmination of all of my favorite poses in the yoga practice in general. But my favorite poses to do in the morning when I don't have a lot of time in especially busy seasons of life. So like many people out there, I have a full-time job and I'm also a graduate student and I'm working on the side to make money. So our lives just get so crazy and sometimes we just need 10 minutes to move our bodies and to stretch it out. And I really notice the days that I don't take the time to do that. So I wanted to give you guys something short and sweet to just get your body moving in the morning or at night before you go to bed. You don't need any props for this class, just your mat and your breath, and we're gonna get started in a tabletop position. So go ahead, stack your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. We're gonna start right away moving with some cat-cows. So go ahead, drop the belly, lift the gaze and the tailbone, look forward. And then drop the belly. Okay, we need to start over. You're gonna have to cut that. All right. So go ahead, place your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. We'll start right away with some cat-cows. On the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze and the tailbone. And on the exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the chin to the chest, and taking your gaze towards the belly button. Keep moving just like that, immediately starting to move with your breath. When I'm taking morning classes, especially if I'm taking them before the sun comes up, I can't always risk going into child's pose or starting lying down because there's usually a good chance I will go right back to sleep. So we're starting with movement today. Working through the spine. And right away, just starting to connect our breath with our movement. When we start the day connecting breath with movement, it's easier to remember to bring our breath with us in particularly stressful situations throughout the day. We'll do one more round here. And then when you're ready, just make your way back to a neutral tabletop position. And from that tabletop position, keep the left hand planted and reach the right arm up to the sky. Find a twist. Stay here for a moment and just allow the body to open up. Really trying to stack that right shoulder over the left. And then we'll find some dynamic movement to start here. So inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, thread it underneath the left. Just let it hover though, don't plant it. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, thread and hover. Reach as far as you can. You can bend that left elbow. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, thread and hover. And this time we will bring the right shoulder and the right ear down just for a couple breaths. Maybe you take that left hand up to the sky and then reach to grab for your right hip crease, opening through the left shoulder. Opposite this time, trying to stack the left shoulder on top of the right. We'll just take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, come back through center, placing left hand underneath left shoulder. Inhaling to lift back up one more time, right arm up to the sky. And then we'll come back down and we'll take it to the other side. Inhale, left arm lifts up. Exhale, thread left arm underneath right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread and hover. One more full time through. Inhale, thread and lift. We didn't hold on this side, so let's hold for a moment here. Forgot about that. Just opening through the left shoulder, stacking it over the right. Trying to keep it even on the sides. And then when you're ready, thread and hover one more time. And then drop that left shoulder, that left ear down to the ground. And again, you can stay here for a couple breaths. Maybe you take that bind, reaching the right fingertips up to the sky, and then taking them around the back. Find your left hip crease and keep opening that right shoulder up, stacking it on top of the left. You should really feel an opening in the cap of the shoulder here. As you're ready, come back through center, reach that arm up to the sky, and then plant right hand underneath right shoulder. Lift those left fingertips back up to the sky, and then take the hands back down to the ground, and we'll walk them slightly forward of the shoulders, spread the fingertips nice and wide, and find your first downward facing dog of class. Let's find a little bit more twisting action here. Walk the hands forward and wide, closer to your wrists, and as far apart on the mat as you can get them. Keeping the right hand grounded, reach the left arm underneath you and towards that right ankle, right shin or right calf. And then just look underneath that right shoulder, finding a nice twist. Maybe you bend that left knee and straighten the right leg as much as you can, really lengthening the back of the right leg. And then come back through center and we'll take that to the other side. This time taking the right hand underneath you, crossing it over to the left ankle, wrist, ankle, calf. Early in the morning, it's hard to talk sometimes. Or maybe up towards the thigh. And then gaze underneath that left armpit. Maybe you bend that right knee, straightening the left leg as much as you can. You'll notice that intensifies the stretch in the back of the left leg. And then as you're ready, come back through center. Walk yourself out to your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Lift the heels, coming up on the tippy toes. And on your exhale, drop the heels down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, lift the heels, come up on the tippy toes. Exhale, settle the heels back down to the ground. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step the right hands, and we'll come into a low lunge, dropping the back knee. You can keep the toes tucked here. We'll stay nice and low, just opening through the chest. And then again, we're going to find some dynamic movement. So inhale here in your lunge, and then exhale, straighten the right leg for a half split. Inhale, come back forward, low lunge. Exhale, straighten the right leg, half split. Inhale. One more time, exhale back to your half split. Let's hold this time. Really focusing on flexing the right toes towards the face, keeping length in the spine as you think about folding your nose towards your shin. I know that's a big stretch. They probably won't touch. I know they're definitely not touching for me. But thinking about moving your nose in that direction will help you to keep length in your spine. One more breath here. And then as you're ready, start to walk yourself back into that lunge. Hold it for just a breath, maybe come on to the fingertips. And then lift that left knee, plant the left hand, and reach the right fingertips up to the sky. Holding in this twist, squeezing inner thighs together for 3, for 2. On 1, drop the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Step back to your high plank, take a breath. And then exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog.
And we'll take those same postures on the opposite side. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. Drop the back knee. Inhale here, keeping the toes tucked. Just staying in your lunge for a breath before we find that dynamic movement. One more inhale here. And on your exhale, straighten through that left leg. Inhale, come back into the lunge. Exhale, straighten through the leg. Inhale, come back into your lunge. Exhale, straighten through the leg. Hold here this time, flexing the left toes towards the face. And again, think nose to left shin. Keep that length in your spine as you fold. This is pretty intense, especially if you haven't moved the body yet today. So just breathe into any areas of tension in the body. Watch the breath go to that space. And then when you're ready, walk yourself back to that lunge. Take an extra breath here this time. And then go ahead and plant the right hand, lift the right knee off of the mat, lift the left fingertips up to the sky, and hold in this twist, squeezing inner thighs together for 3, for 2. On 1, take the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Step back to your high plank. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. We'll take that similarly on both sides again, just a little bit bigger of a movement this time. So inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. Come into a runner's lunge, but this time, keep the back knee lifted. You can take some rocks back and forth here and try and bring that chest off of the thigh using your core to hold you up. And we'll find that same dynamic movement, except this time with the knee lifted. So inhale, come forward, low runner's lunge. Exhale, straighten both of the legs, fold forward into your pyramid pose. Maybe you come onto the right heel and flex the toes towards the face. Inhale, plant the right foot, come forward, low runner's lunge. Exhale, back to that pyramid pose, onto the right heel, flex the right toes towards the face. One more round. Inhale, come forward, low runner's lunge. Exhale, come back. Hold here for an extra breath. And then when you're ready, come back to that low runner's lunge. Plant the hands, step back to your high plank, and lift the hips for your downward facing dog. Let's work into the shoulders before the other side. Go ahead and take your hands wide on the mat. I'm going to actually grab the outside edges of the mat. I'm going to walk my feet slightly closer in towards my wrists, and then bend the knees as much as I can. Send my chest to my thighs, the crown of the head down to the ground. Feel the shoulders open, and then straighten the legs as much as you can. Let's do that again. Bend the knees, really grab the mat with the hands. Send the chest to the thighs. The crown of the head might come really close to touching the ground. And then straighten through the legs, opening the shoulders. Let's come back to our downward facing dog and take that on the other side. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. Stay in this low runner's lunge. Use your core to hold you up here. Take some rocks back and forth, coming on to the fingertips. And we'll find that dynamic movement. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, pyramid pose. Come on to the left heel. Flex the toes to the face. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, pyramid pose. One more time. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, pyramid pose. Hold for an extra breath. And then when you're ready, come back into that low runner's lunge. And then plant the hands, step back to your high plank. Lift the hips for your downward facing dog. And from your down dog, let's just drop the knees and come onto our backs. We'll take an inversion here. We'll take shoulder stand. Inversions are great for giving the heart a rest, allowing some blood to flow to the brain, giving you energy. So for shoulder stand, go ahead and lift the legs straight up to the sky. You're going to take your hands to your lower back, lift the hips, and then walk the elbows in a little bit closer if you can. And we're trying to stack shoulders underneath the hips. That can be a little bit tricky to do. You can stay here, really pressing the elbows into the ground, lifting the hips, supporting yourself with the hands on the low back. Or you can come into a plow pose, dropping the feet back. Maybe they come all the way down to the ground. And if they do, you might release the hands, interlace them, and bring them down to the ground. Only release the hands from the low back if your feet are touching the ground behind you. This is really great for opening through the back body, especially early in the day. It can be intense, but it works wonders, getting out those knots that are created when we're sleeping. And we'll stay here for a couple more breaths. If you're in shoulder stand, just hold where you are. We'll meet you back there. And when you're ready to come out of this plow pose, just bring the hands back to the lower back. We'll work ourselves back into our shoulder stand, and then very slowly bring the hips back down to the ground. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. And then roll onto one side and make your way back up to your seat. We'll close out with some seated postures here. Coming to a comfortable seated position. Take an inhale, lift the fingertips up to the sky. And then drop the right hand, lift the left arm up and over the head. Take a side body stretch. Just take a breath or two here. And then we'll take this to a fold on the opposite side. So stay where you are. Just kick that left foot out towards the top left corner of the mat and fold your body over in the opposite direction, folding over that left leg for Janu Shirshasana. And as you fold, you're not just feeling this in your hamstring, but probably in the side body as well. Feel that length. When you're ready, make your way back to your seated position. Reach the fingertips back up to the sky. You know where we're going this time. Left hand plants, right arm up and over the head. Side body stretch. Just a breath here. And then we'll take that right foot out to the top right corner of the mat. And we'll take a fold in the opposite direction. Folding over the right knee, grabbing onto whatever you can. And again, you might feel this in your left side body. I tend to feel it really towards my lower back, kind of on the side body. It feels nice, just requires deep, deep breaths. When you're ready, come back to your seated position. And before you do what I always do and move super quickly to roll up your mat and get started with your day, just take a moment to pause. Rest your hands on your knees. Roll your shoulders down and back. Tuck the chin slightly. Tailbone presses down into the earth and the crown of the head reaches up in the opposite direction. Let's just take 5 breaths here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. 4 more. 3.
2. Last one. Blink the eyes open, bring your hands to a prayer position. Thank you so much for starting your morning with me. Namaste. I hope this class was an amazing start to your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more free yoga, and I'll see you next time.